Good morning, traders. This is Wilkey with StartupTrading.com. It is Wednesday, July 1st, 2020, the first day of the month and the first day of the new quarter. So, looking back at yesterday's action, we found right when the bell rang, we found demand right in the demand zones when coming above into value. These red zones all found demand, and then they were able to chew through the overhead resistance, which was the bad prices paid the previous day. These blue marks up here were trades that went off above the bell high of the day, and you can see the settlements were also above the bell high of the day for everything but the Russell. So the Russell took a little bit more time to get up, but it finally did get up above its overnight high, which is the red dotted line, and move across. So as we come back in there, we did have a little bit of a spike at the end of the day, a little bit of a you know buying demand, short squeeze, whatever you have it, but it was a pretty good spike and fall within about a 10-minute period. So 5 minutes up, 5 minutes down. So we'll look at and see what we think is going on today now. Looking at just the ES alone on a 1600 tick chart for yesterday, the value areas were in these gray zones over here, and the overnight value areas were in these colored zones. So you can see once the bell rings at this vertical bar here for the opening bell, that we are down towards the bottom of the overnight low value area and at value area high for the day-to-day settings, and that after about an hour or so we finally break up above the overnight value area zone, and then it was, never challenged the rest of the day. So looking at what's going on today, we have ADP non-farm payroll that just came in at 8:15. That came in a little under expectations, but not that big of a deal. We're going to have FOMC minutes at 2 o'clock. We do have some news at 9:45 and 10, but they're not that big of deals, to be honest with you. So these minutes coming in at 2 will probably create some afternoon volatility, but don't expect a whole lot out of it that's going to be lasting, because tomorrow morning before the bell, we actually have the non-farm payroll. That's going to be the big mover for the week. So looking at the ES and just where we've been, where we've come from since this late February fall to March 23rd low, as we've come up, we've been stuck in this range basically since May 22nd, up in this zone. So we've come back down, and we talked earlier in the week that it's going to be hard to churn through under 3,000 just because there's so much demand down here. Once you churn through there, you could get to 29.35 and then possibly 28.43. But until then, it's just business as usual up here. So we still have untested nodes near us at 30.27.75, and the one from yesterday at 30.69 quarter, which will probably trade today. We are trading 86 though, so keep in mind it might not trade today. We are in this upper distribution zone now that goes up to 31, 32.50 from this basically 69 quarter. So looking at the ES so far, overnight action, 30 and 3/4 points. And as we look at, really what's going on in the last several weeks, we've got, basically 4 different zones here that we're in. We're in this middle zone now. Again, we've spent most of our time in these middle 2 zones. We're in the upper of the middle 2 zones now. So holding above 30.61.5 for me is going to be a little bit more important this session. And if we, zoom into this area, you can see the overnight low coming down there right at 62.75. So getting within 5 ticks of that low that we're watching, and then having that nice rebound up kind of sets the trend, that we don't think that anything is going on. We did have some single prints yesterday. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more in the session. So we did have single prints in this area that I marked on the chart for you. And then as we come back up, now you can see that we are above the value zone. I'll actually show you a little bit more on this. We'll go out 10 bars just so you can see it. So we were up in, if you look at the overnight low, right, we never got down into the bottom of value area low. We held that 61.5 area. We've come up. Now we're at the area of the chart where, if it's going to be an inside day, we should see sellers between now and the settlement, basically. So getting above the overnight high and holding above the settlement is really what you need to watch today. And then keep in mind we have a split distribution just like we did for the NASDAQ. That's at 3105 to 3115. So this is a above or below zone for me. So I really don't want to screw with it too much in the middle here. So I like to see prices holding above 3115 or holding below 3105. And as strong as the last 2 days were, I wouldn't really fight this down to the downside unless you see rejection, after the bell rings up around these points. Otherwise, I think these are going to be potential support today, and we'll be just going up higher in the charts and testing probably that 32, that untested node that we have above us. So looking at all the indexes, right, we've got basically they all responded very well, and holding above where these signal prints were after the bell I think is going to be key as well. So keep that in mind. I've marked that on all of the charts for you, these orange dotted lines. Looking at the sequences, and you can see coming off the lows, it's a very aggressive buying sequence. You can see the bears are totally, lost now. So at the 62.75, you can see, a nice sequence. Haven't even really come back down to anything yet. So I just keep watching the 38.2 from that draw. And then we'll see if we get some more aggressive draws that we can pay attention to for, later on once the bell rings. Same thing with the NASDAQ, very aggressive coming out of that low. The same thing with the Russell. So looking at the ES, we kind of talked about that already. So holding also above 93.75 is going to lead you up to that 31.29.5. I really don't have any major resistance other than that 31.05 to 31.15 zone that I talked about when we were just looking at the ES. Looking at the NASDAQ, breaking above basically 10,160 is going to be a little bit more pivotal for me. Until then, that's going to help dictate where the day goes, in my opinion. So it's either going to be that or back down towards the lower end of this range at 10,000, basically 20. And you can see they're all bumping up against their resistance, and you can see that they don't have much resistance after they break through where they currently are on the charts on any of the indices we've looked at. So 1462.60 is the next leg I have above that, or for resistance. For the Dow, it needs to clear 25,750 for me, and then there's really nothing until you hit 26,300 basically. So looking back at all the indexes, kind of putting a wrap on the thoughts here, I will, as soon, right around the opening bell, I'll put out the overnight value area zones. I think those are going to be a key level to watch. We'll see if we get how much movement we get. Keep in mind that a normal FOMC day pattern is wherever we open at, whether we drive up or we drive down from there, you will fade back towards the open between noon and 2. So don't get too excited whatever way the ball bounces between the opening bell and noon. Keep in mind that we're likely to fade back towards the open before the FOMC release at 2 o'clock. That's just for whatever reason, that's the FOMC pattern, and we'll see if it plays out again today. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, at the bottom of the link, if you would like to be able to load these charts and read some more of the daily newsletter, there is a link below for the 7-day trial for the services.